When ordinary people have a say in their own future, then your land can't just be taken away from you. And that's why reforms must ensure that the people of this nation can have that most fundamental. Of possessions, the right to own the title to the land on which you live and on which you work. When your talents are unleashed, then opportunity will be created for all people. America is lifting our ban on companies doing business here. And your government has lifted restrictions on investment and taken steps to open up your economy. And now, as more wealth flows into your borders, we hope and expect that it will lift up more people. It can't just help folks at the top. It has to help everybody. And that kind of economic growth, where everybody has opportunity if you work hard. You can succeed. That's what gets a nation moving rapidly when it comes to develop. But that kind of growth can only be created if corruption is left behind. For investment to lead to opportunity. Reform must promote budgets that are transparent and industry that is privately owned. To lead by example, America now insists that our companies meet high standards of openness and transparency if they're doing business here. And we'll work with organizations like the World Bank to support small businesses and to promote an economy that allows entrepreneurs. Small business people to thrive and allows workers to keep what they earn. And I very much welcome your government's recent decision to join what we've called our Open Government Partnership. So that citizens can come to expect accountability. and learn exactly how monies are spent and how your system of government operates. Above all, when your voices are heard in government, it's far more likely that your basic needs will be met. And that's why reform must reach the daily lives of those who are hungry and those who are ill. And those who live without electricity or water. And here, too, America will do our part in working with you. Today, I was proud to re-establish our USAID mission in this country, which is our lead development agency. And the United States wants to be a partner in helping this country, which used to be the rice bowl of Asia. To re-establish its capacity to feed its people and to care for its sick. And educate its children, and build its democratic institutions as you continue down the path of reform. This country is famous for its natural resources, and they must be protected against exploitation. And let us remember that in a global economy, a country's greatest resource is its people. So by investing in you, this nation can open the door for far more prosperity because unlocking a nation's potential depends on empowering all its people, especially its young people. Just as education is the key to America's future, it is going to be the key to your future as well. And so we look forward to working with you, as we have with many of your neighbors. To extend that opportunity and to deepen exchanges among our students. We want students from this country to travel to the United States and learn from us. And we want US students to come here and learn from you. And this truth leads me to the third freedom that I want to discuss. the freedom to worship as you please, and your right to basic human dignity. This country, like my own country, is blessed with diversity. Not everybody looks the same. Not everybody comes from the same region. Not everybody worships in the same way. In your cities and towns, there are pagodas and temples and mosques and churches standing side by side. Well over 100 ethnic groups have been a part of your story. Yet within these borders, we've seen some of the world's longest running insurgencies. Which have cost countless lives, and torn families and communities apart, and stood in the way of development. No process of reform will succeed without national reconciliation. You now have a moment of remarkable opportunity to transform ceasefires into lasting settlements. And to pursue peace where conflicts still linger, including in Kachin state. Those efforts must lead to a more just and lasting peace. Including humanitarian access to those in need, and a chance for the displaced to return home. Today, we look at the recent violence in Rakhine state that has caused so much suffering. And we see the danger of continued tensions there. For too long, the people of the state, including ethnic Rakhine, have faced crushing poverty and persecution. But there is no excuse for violence against innocent people. And the Rohingya hold within themselves the same dignity as you do, and I do. National reconciliation will take time, but for the sake of our common humanity. and for the sake of this country's future, it is necessary to stop incitement and to stop violence. And I welcome the government's commitment to address the issues of injustice and accountability. And humanitarian access and citizenship. That's a vision that the world will support as you move forward. Every nation struggles to define citizenship. America has had great debates about these issues, and those debates continue to this day. Because we're a nation of immigrants, people coming from every different part of the world. But what we've learned in the United States is that there are certain principles that are universal. Apply to everybody, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter what religion you practice. The right of people to live without the threat that their families may be harmed. Or their homes may be burned simply because of who they are or where they come from. Only the people of this country ultimately can define your union. Can define what it means to be a citizen of this country. But I have confidence that as you do that, you can draw on this diversity as a strength and not a weakness. Your country will be stronger because of many different cultures. But you have to seize that opportunity. You have to recognize that strength. I say this because my own country and my own life have taught me the power of diversity. The United States of America is a nation of Christians and Jews. And Muslims and Buddhists and Hindus and non-believers. Our story is shaped by every language, it's enriched by every culture. We have people from every corners of the world. We've tasted the bitterness of civil war and segregation. But our history shows us that hatred in the human heart can recede, that the lines between races and tribes fade away. And what's left is a simple truth, e pluribus unum. That's what we say in America. Out of many, we are one nation and we are one people. And that truth has, time and again, made our union stronger. It has made our country stronger. It's part of what has made America great. We amended our Constitution to extend the democratic principles that we hold dear. And I stand before you today as President of the most powerful nation on earth. But recognizing that once the color of my skin would have denied me the right to vote. And so that should give you some sense that if our country can transcend its differences, then yours can, too. Every human being within these borders is a part of your nation's story, and you should embrace that. That's not a source of weakness, that's a source of strength if you recognize it. And that brings me to the final freedom that I will discuss today. And that is the right of all people to live free from fear. In many ways, fear is the force that stands between human beings. And their dreams. Fear of conflict and the weapons of war. Fear of a future that is different from the past. Fear of changes that are reordering our societies and economy. Fear of people who look different, or come from a different place, or worship in a different way. In some of her darkest moments, When Aung San Suu Kyi was imprisoned, she wrote an essay about freedom from fear. She said fear of losing corrupts those who wield it, fear of losing power corrupts those who wield it. And fear of the scourge of power corrupts those who are subject to it. That's the fear that you can leave behind. We see that chance in leaders who are beginning to understand that. Power comes from appealing to people's hopes, not people's fears. We see it in citizens who insist that this time must be different. That this time change will come and will continue. As Aung San Suu Kyi wrote, fear is not the natural state of civilized man. I believe that. And today, you are showing the world that fear does not have to be the natural state of life in this country. That's why I am here. That's why I came to Rangoon. And that's why what happens here is so important not only to this region, but to the world. Because you're taking a journey that has the potential to inspire so many people. This is a test of whether a country can transition to a better place. The United States of America is a Pacific nation, and we see our future as bound to those nations and peoples to our west. And as our economy recovers, this is where we believe we will find enormous growth. As we have ended the wars that have dominated our foreign policy for a decade. This region will be a focus for our efforts to build a prosperous peace. Here in Southeast Asia, we see the potential for integration among nations and people. And as president, I have embraced ASEAN for reasons that go beyond the fact that I spent some of my childhood in this region, in Indonesia. Because with ASEAN, we see nations that are on the move, nations that are growing. And democracies that are emerging, governments that are cooperating, progress that's building on the diversity. That spans oceans and islands and jungles and cities, peoples of every race and every religion. This is what the 21st century should look like if we have the courage to put aside our differences and move forward with a sense of mutual interest and mutual respect.